My golden child sister tried to ruin my wedding, but my fiance's revenge was perfect. Growing up with Jane as my older sister was like living in someone else's spotlight. She was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, the one who got all the praise and attention. From as early as I can remember, everything in our family revolved around her. Jane was the straightest student, the star athlete, and even the student council president. Every report card, every sports trophy, and every school event seemed to be another reason for my parents to gush about how amazing she was. Me? I was just her younger sister. I existed in her shadow, barely noticed except when someone needed a comparison to highlight Jane's brilliance. Family gatherings, holidays, birthdays, everything followed the same pattern. Jane would be the center of attention while I was just there. Take Christmas for example. Every year was predictable. Jane got the best gifts, original Lego sets, cool gadgets, or the latest toys that every kid wanted. One year, she got a Lego Technic set, complete with working motors and intricate designs. It was the kind of gift that made kids in our neighborhood jealous. I, on the other hand, got a knockoff Lego set that didn't even have proper instructions. My parents brushed it off with, "Oh, you like to figure things out on your own, don't you?" "Sure, Mom." That's exactly why Jane got the premium set, and I got the one missing half its pieces. This favoritism wasn't limited to just childhood. When Jane turned 16, my parents celebrated it like a milestone fit for royalty. They bought her a used BMW claiming that a first car should be something prestigious. It was an old model, sure, but it was still a BMW. I'll never forget how proud they looked handing her the keys, like they had just secured her ticket to greatness. When I turned 16, I didn't expect the same treatment, but I also didn't expect to get Dad's old Ford. And I only got that because Jane got an upgrade to a newer car. By the time I was a teenager, I'd come to accept my role in the family hierarchy. Jane was destined for greatness, while I was just the afterthought. My parents didn't say it outright, but their actions screamed it. Jane was always working so hard or under so much pressure that her mistakes were excused. When she failed a test, it was because she was exhausted from her extracurriculars. When she crashed Dad's car, it was because she was stressed after breaking up with her boyfriend. Meanwhile, when I achieved something, like winning a school competition, it was downplayed. "The questions must have been easy this year," Mom once said with a shrug. Jane's success didn't stop at high school. After graduation, she went to a fancy business school funded by my parents and some help from Adam's dad. It was a private institution with small class sizes, networking opportunities, and all the resources she could ever need. My parents called it an investment in her future. Me? I got into logistics on a scholarship. My parents didn't offer to help, and I didn't ask. I knew better by then. While Jane partied at student events and joined fancy clubs, I was working nights unloading trucks to make ends meet. I remember coming home exhausted, only to hear Mom on the phone bragging about Jane's brilliant ideas, or how she was already networking with potential business partners. No one asked about my classes or how I was juggling school and work. They didn't even know I had landed a scholarship. The pattern continued at every family gathering. No matter what I was doing, the conversation always circled back to Jane. It was like a broken record. Jane's grades, Jane's plans, Jane's bright future. Even when I started working after graduation, climbing the ranks in my company, it didn't seem to matter. Jane had already opened her first restaurant, funded by our parents and Adam's father. They acted like she'd built the entire thing from scratch, conveniently forgetting the loans and family money that made it possible. The restaurant itself was flashy, a modern Instagram-worthy place that got a lot of attention. But anyone who looked closely could see it wasn't exactly profitable. Without Adam's dad's distribution contracts, it probably wouldn't have lasted a year. Still, that didn't stop my parents from calling her a genius entrepreneur. They even threw her a huge party to celebrate the grand opening, complete with speeches about how proud they were. I wasn't invited to speak at the party, of course. I just stood in the corner watching everyone toast to Jane's brilliance. It didn't matter that I'd worked my way up from a junior manager to a regional director at an international logistics company. To them, I was still just Jane's little brother, the one who would never measure up. Things reached a breaking point when Jane married Adam. Adam came from a wealthy, influential family. His dad owned a major distribution network, and his mom was heavily involved in charity events and social circles.